Hi everyone, today we're going to create a soft deconstructed chignon. It's going to be really beautiful and whimsical. What I love about this style is that it's really simple and easy, but it looks like it took a lot more time to create. It's especially great for finer hair types. So with our client, we started out by prepping her hair with thickening mousse, gave her a nice blowout, and then prepped her with a 1 1/4 inch curling iron. I used our Diamond Deflect spray, which I'm gonna show you guys a little bit more as we get into it. So let's go ahead and get started. I get a lot of requests from clients to utilize the center part with an upstyle, so we're gonna do that today. I'm gonna go a couple inches back from her front hairline, and I'm gonna create a diagonal back parting that goes to right behind the ear. This is gonna change depending on your client's hair density and whether they have a lot of face framing layers. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pin that out of the way, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Now that my front sections are pinned away, I'm gonna create a circular section right through the crown. This is generally where I get a lot of requests for some volume. And with finer hair types, I don't like to do a lot of teasing because it really creates almost kind of a messy finish instead of it looking soft and natural. I'm gonna use a tiny bit of my working wax, just enough to go on the end of my nail, and I'm gonna emulsify it in my fingertips. I'm just gonna go through and break up through the top. This is gonna give her some nice texture and shine and a little bit of separation. Now I'm gonna create a low, loose ponytail with that crown section that I have sectioned off. A good tip is to not make your ponytail holder too tight, or else it's gonna be difficult to pull and actually fluff up this top part. You'll end up pulling too much hair, and then it's gonna give you a look that you're not happy with. So now I'm gonna invert my ponytail. So I'm just gonna create a little separation, equal sides, and I'm gonna flip the tail right over the top. I also like to ruche the rubber band afterwards because it already helps to create this nice volume that we got here. I'm gonna hold my ponytail at the bottom, nice and loosely. I don't wanna hold it too tight or else it's gonna be difficult for me to pinch and pull, but I'm gonna create some nice texture through the top. This is creating that volume without having to put a lot of teasing into her hair. And it's also really nice to be able to just take this out. Your clients are gonna be brushing through their hair forever. With a little bit more working wax on just my fingertips, I'm gonna take the remaining amount of her hair. I'm gonna work it right through the ends, and that's gonna help me give some nice shine and separation again. With all the remaining hair on the bottom, I'm gonna combine it all together, again, making another low ponytail. Keeping in mind, we wanna keep this loose so that nothing looks too tight or pulled. I love using ponytail holders because it secures everything, but it still keeps everything looking nice and romantic. I'm again gonna create another little inverted ponytail. So I'm gonna take my fingers through the center and then just flip that right over the top. I'm gonna go back and pinch and pull until I create that volume that is desired. So with the remaining hair at the bottom, I'm gonna use our Diamond Deflect spray because it has a really nice low hold with a lot of shine. It's really gonna accentuate her hair color and give me a little bit of control. I'm gonna go in and just create a really soft amount of back combing. I'm really just doing a little bit of superficial back combing, so I'm not pushing my comb all the way through. And then I'm gonna pull this whole ponytail up and create my chignon. I'm gonna secure each side of the chignon with a bobby pin. I don't like to open the bobby pins as I put them into the hair. I almost just weave them in. That way you don't grab too much hair and it starts to slip back out. So without opening the bobby pin, I like to use the longer arm to go in and just pick up a couple of pieces of hair almost like I'm weaving it. And that gives me ultimate security without picking up too much for the bobby pin to hold. Once you have your chignon into place, I like to go back in with the Diamond Deflect spray just to give it a little bit of extra hold without looking overworked. I like using a soft hold hairspray because it gives me that control I need without making the hair look too overdone. Now that we have the back secured, I'm gonna work on these front sections. For clients that want a softer look with a little bit more whimsy, I like to take these front sections and instead of forcefully pulling out pieces, sometimes they can look a little bit random. I like to just shake out this front section so that some pieces fall naturally. I'm gonna again just use a tiny bit of working wax to give me some control, but some pliable movement. And I'm gonna start twisting back away from the face. A good tip is to not make your twist too tight. You don't want this really extreme or else it's gonna be hard to deconstruct it and fluff it out. So just softly twist back away from the face. Starting at the bottom, I'm gonna fluff my twist back out. So I'm just pulling at really just the tiniest outer strands to create a little bit more volume. A good tip for finer hair types, or if you're working with smaller sections to make them look fuller, I like to go in and pull the very last piece of hair, so just the tiniest bit, and ruche my section up to give it a little bit more bulk. I'm gonna cross this over in the back and pin it right on top of my chignon. Again, I'm gonna take my bobby pin and I'm just going to weave in that section. Now I'm gonna repeat the same process on the opposite side. So again, twisting back away from the face always helps bring the style up instead of having it droop too much. One big thing that I like to do when creating a really soft, whimsical upstyle is I don't like to do too much of my perfecting while I'm creating my final look. I like to wait until everything is secured and then go back through and perfect it. With the remaining pieces that I have hanging, I like to use a little bit of the working wax just to define them and give them a little bit of control. This is a nice option instead of using hairspray because it stays pliable throughout the day. I love the working wax for these front pieces because it really helps with any little frizzies. When detailing the hair, I like to utilize my styling pins because they'll hold everything softly in place without making it look too tight or too pulled. So how I like to put them into the hair is I start with the legs pointed upwards and then I just loop back over the top and then secure it down. This will hide the pin, also creating a nice soft hold. Now that we've completed the style, one of my favorite tricks is to use a kabuki brush and my finishing spray to help smooth out any of these little flyaways. This helps me not put too much tension and smash the hair down, but just get away all of those little staticky hairs. Now that I have everything into place, I'm gonna give a light mist of our finishing spray just to solidify the style and help with longevity. Voila, there you have it, our deconstructed chignon.